Hello viewers and welcome back to our coverage of the pre-release for Dominions 4 Thrones of Ascension. Today we will be taking a look at yet another faction and really going from there. So once again we're going to be playing on the Middle Ages era. Gonna add 4 players this time, and we are going to check out the second faction inside the Middle Ages that is recently added, Vanarus, Land of the Chuds. So I believe the Arrival of Man faction here, Vanham, and the one that we're going to be looking at today is fairly similar. But like I said earlier inside some of the other videos, I have not played the predecessor to this, Dominions 3, so I really don't know about that. Anyways, the setting for these guys is that they're Norse warriors. They are a mixture of humans, a race called the Chuds, and I believe one more called the Vanir, and they're essentially 3 people all combined inside their lands, really. So they're mainly made out of human infantry, a few Chud commanders, and Vanir people. For mages, they being that they're based upon like Norse mythology and whatnot, they do have a preference for cold, and their magic semi reflects that because it's I noticed that they do have quite a lot of air and a little bit of water skills, but in general their magic is really diverse. So with that being said, I mean, picking a commander for this faction is a little hard, being the fact that they are really rather diverse in all things. I found that the Father of Winter's commander is kinda alright. He's not good at anything in particular, but he's alright in everything. Likewise, Sinja is kind of the same, alright in everything, plays to the air mage speciality of this faction a little bit, so that's good. Which one that I haven't tried yet is the All-Father here, which is essentially good at, well, he's a little bit of a diverse person. He's good at air magic, astral magic, and death magic, so he's kind of all over the place, but the main thing about him is that he actually has the sailing thing, which is actually able to bring land armies overseas, which may be useful inside the future. For this playthrough, I think, or rather for this demonstration, I'll go with this commander for now, simply because it does give us a nice little split here. I think I'll put, I don't know, maybe 4 in air magic, 2 in earth, 2 in nature, and 2 in fire, just for now. I'm mainly just getting a lot of those simply because I want to just kind of explore what the faction really has to offer. Likewise, I think I'll go for a negative luck, high dominion, and high productivity build again, simply because those two are the things that are really nice to have. And we're just going to change the settings here once again, so that we don't necessarily need that many Thrones of Ascension to win and start the game. The nice thing about this faction, I mean, is that they appear to have a lot of unique summoning spells. They don't necessarily have that many offensive magical users, but they definitely have a lot of people who are able to summon a lot of goods, which is rather nice. And well, as soon as we generate the map, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but they do seem to have a nice little lineup of earthly units, as I'd like to put it. Okay, there we go. So, game starts, and we immediately get plucked into our capital. So the reason that I chose such a diverse demigod is that they gain a lot of different gems over the turns. I mean, you start out with generating 2 earth gem or 2 air gems per turn, 1 fire gem, 1 death gem, and 1 nature gems. So they have a nice little variety here, and in reality, I believe they can use pretty much every single school of magic except for astral types, which isn't necessarily that big of a problem. So let's see what the world generation gave us for today. Okay, well, we have a fairly easy victory chance by just taking these 3 thrones, right? Okay, well, anyways, let's begin. Go into their unit lists. You do have your standard scout unit. You have a whole bunch of commanders. You essentially have 3 different types of Jarl commanders. You have the Hurfs over here, low-level commander, kind of like the Centurion. You have the one that's a little higher up, called the Jarl, which is also a sacred unit. So you can bless this commander, and I believe he's just a better version of the other guy. You have the Goad Commander, which is, let's see. Well, to be fair, I don't actually know how these guys will compare up in battle, but from the looks of it, they are more or less more of a kind of a bless unit. You might want to use these guys as some sort of out of the ordinary fighter by equipping them with some different items and whatnot. This faction's magic is a little limited because in the last three here, you have essentially one person, which is a sage. These guys, they have one air magic, 2 in terms of random skills, a research ability of 15, and an adept research trait which give them even more research, which is rather nice. These guys are obviously really good for research, but for casting magic, you have the opportunity of getting a tier 3 air magic caster, but typically what you'll see is just maybe like a tier 1 earth magic person with a few different other skills. Not terribly helpful, not terribly good at casting, but definitely good for the research. The Chard Yao is essentially, I believe it is fairly similar to the Goad in some ways. I mean, it looks like he is a stronger version of the Goad commander. And then you have the last commander, which is this person mounted on a little horse here, which is the Vanabog, and this is your primary caster. So once again, decent research ability, decent air magic, a little bit on the death and blood magic section, and you also have that bonus chance of grabbing a few other skills. So that's kind of their unit lineup up top. And you're here for their actual infantry lineup. You have your standard archers, decently cheap, decently useful. You have some line troops right here, the Huskarls, which are your bare basic troops, average in pretty much every single way. They do have cold resistance, and then once you move up, you have the Vanarus and Herdmen, which are just slightly better infantrymen. And then as soon as you move over here, you get some more of the unique troops. Starting off with the Herdman, the Chud Herdman is essentially your above average infantrymen. They do have this Berserker trait, so they are rather useful as kind of like shock troops. Moving a little bit forward, you have the Earthbound, or the Oathbound troops, sorry. These guys are sacred troops, so you can't bless them. They're stealthy, they have Glamour, which I believe is it's the ability to cast illusions to alter their appearance, so they can take the appearance of common, and they essentially gain a little bit of a stealth benefit from doing that. And in addition, they have the Skin Shifter, which is a person that is able to change how they look. So they don't seem to have the regenerative powers of the woven Skin Shifters of Van Helm, although they do have recuperative powers, so they can heal fairly bad wounds over time, which is, I suppose, fairly useful. So far what I found works is that you want to have a lot of these sages early game for the research, and you want to have a lot of these Huskarls with the spears just to kind of conquer the early game here, so that's kind of what we're going to be doing. For magic, we're going to be pumping a lot into Conjuration, because I believe they have a fairly nice set of skills for summoning various different goods. You can summon a lot of things from the lands of Rus with our sages here. Because we gain a lot of air gems and whatnot, we can essentially just use our mages to cast a lot of these summoning skills, and I believe the ones that are faction specific are noted in this purple slash blue color. So yeah, at level 2 Conjuration you can summon the Sungarl, and it only takes level 1 air magic, so you could do that fairly easily with any of your guys. And then as we just kind of go down the list, they have a lot of other things. You have the Summon Firebird spell, contact this person spell, and yeah, that really just continues. They get a lot of high-powered summoning spells as the game goes on, so that's rather nice to have, and most of them are typically based on air magic, so if you're good at air magic, I suppose that's good. And let's just take a look at the nearby provinces, check out what's there. There's a nice easy invade province over here, there's some bombardments down there, so this should be a easy fight. Yeah, as soon as we get one guy researching, it's pretty damn high. You get 15 research points per one of these little guys researching, so they're pretty good at doing that, and they should be actually able to research even more with their little trait thing. Anyways, I haven't necessarily noticed whether or not these guys are, all that great at expanding or not. So let's just take these guys and let's get them to invade this province right away. And let's just end the turn, see how that goes. Yeah, we should win that battle, no problem. Grab that territory and move back down here, and we'll get another force assembled over here. For spells in terms of this faction, I mean, you have your standard setup for as with most factions, although I really feel like the main point of their mages at the moment is really just to kind of crank out those summoning abilities. Some useful spells for these guys from the looks of it would be the ones in enchantments, simply because you do get a large amount of gems here. You can really diversify your magic, but what I've found to be really good for these guys is that you can get a few things from what was it called here? I believe it was either, yeah, it's mainly just Conjuration for summoning things. I think there's also a few spells inside enchantments, like the Animate the Dead ones that you could probably use for some of your troops. And I believe another one is Healing Touch. You could use your sages as healers, I suppose, on the front lines as well. A few other ones, maybe some of the ones like Berserker, like there was some sort of Berserker one, yeah, where you could essentially get your troops to grab the Berserker trait artificially, which would be also pretty handy. And I have a feeling that'll take care of those two groups, so that's kind of that. And they should essentially stomp out those guys, and over time, as you can see here, we have been gaining like quite a lot of different gems over the period of the game, so if you are rather into using those gems, I mean, this would be a great faction to kind of use, coupled with the fact that you have a large selection of different types of magic. So, if we get rid of all the, if we stop building some of those sages and start building some of these Vanabogs, let's take a look at what exactly they are good at. I'm gonna check on this army, see if they have enough people to really get into this province, and I believe they do. So I'm going to order them to attack. And hopefully they win, hopefully they do. Do they win? Let's see. Oh, there were 42 troops there. It initially gave me like a quote of like 20 some, I think. Oh well. So let's just go back to the capital and see what happened. So yeah, as soon as you get your second level commanders, the Vanabog people, I mean, they also have decent research abilities, but the main thing is that they appear to have primarily death magic and air magic, and I'm not sure if they can actually gain the earth/nature magic of the sages. Let's actually take a look at how well they can lead their troops. So it looks like they have decent +1 morale bonus to our troops, and let's just kind of see what spells they can cast as they go along here. So they can summon Storm Power, which is kind of nice. This enables the mage to cast powerful air spells. This only works during a storm. Okay. They also have Spirit Curse and some other stuff here. Air Shield, Hand of Dust. Yeah, most of these spells are I would say, fairly generic. What I'm rather interested in is being able to summon these various different things here. So let's see what they can get. They can summon a pack of wolves, summon a horned serpent, but I'm rather interested in the summoning of these animals, these specialty things. So let's actually do that and just cast a few research spells just like that. You see that because of how diverse their sages are, it's a little hard to find like really strong casters in one particular school of magic apart from air. So I'm going to get them to summon 3 of those things. This is just a demonstration after all, so it shouldn't be that big of an issue, but let's take a look at the first thing that they can summon. So one of these things is a strange winged dog from the lands of Rust. It is sometimes summoned by mages to aid on hunts and patrols. So let's see. They get a nice little patrol bonus. They are flying. And from the looks of it, their stats are alright. Not the best, not the worst though. So that's pretty cool that they can do that. And how many magic gems does it take for us to summon those guys? Just one gem, okay. So I have a feeling that, yeah, that's pretty much all I'd like to show for today. Well, actually, no, we could go into looking into these schools of magic, or going higher up into the School of Conjuration, looking at some of the other spells that they have. But from the looks of it, yeah, it's pretty much just summoning a lot of things. Fortunately, I don't seem to be able to pull up the little stats for the various different units that they can summon, but from the looks of it, they can summon a commander near level 4, and then as they go up, they get more access to those contact spells, which are essentially able to summon things for one battle, I believe, and then these things will come down and help us out. Actually, no, I think it actually gives us the commanders, so that's pretty cool. From the looks of it though, I mean, the higher you go up, most of the summon spells are generally the same basic level, so they're only like 1 or 2. Send Lady Midday, let's see what this does. Okay, so this is actually a spell, it's not a summoning thing. Okay, so this is technically another summoning thing, although it doesn't actually give us control of the unit, I believe. Yeah, you can do that. The faction here is said to be kind of lacking on the whole astral magic thing, but from the looks of it, the most powerful things that they can summon are actually part of using astral pearls to do so. So maybe this would be yet another good faction to maybe use the Great Enchantress or something like that to be your demigod, simply because she does generate those astral pearls, and she can essentially use a large variety of different magical spells from various different elements, so that'd be kind of cool. Anyways, I'll see you guys later on, where we take a look at maybe blood magic, or finally start our let's play. So, until then, bye bye. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.